The wind cuts through my jacket, sharp as a blade, as I shuffle down a Chicago alley at 4 a.m. The city smells of wet concrete and yesterday's garbage, a bitter reminder of where I've landed. My boots worn thin from years of walking nowhere scrape against the pavement. I'm Alex, 42 years old, and I'm invisible, a ghost in a world that doesn't see me. My fingers numb from the cold clutch, a tattered sleeping bag, my only shield against the night. My life wasn't always this. Once I was Sergeant Alex Carter, a soldier in the U.S. Army, proud and strong. But that was before Don't Ask, Don't Tell ripped me from my unit, before they found out I was transitioning, before they branded me a liability and kicked me out. I lost my career, my home, my purpose. Now I'm just another homeless vet battling PTSD and a society that spits on me for being a trans woman. The nightmare's gunfire screams the faces of men I couldn't save, wake me in a cold sweat. But the worst pain isn't the memories. It's the whispers, the glares, the way people cross the street when they see my weathered face, my short-cropped hair, my body that doesn't fit their boxes. I huddle against a dumpster, the metal cold against my back, and pull out a crumpled photo from my pocket. It's me pre-transition in uniform, standing with my squad. We're smiling, arms slung around each other, the desert sun baking our skin. I was one of them. Now I'm nothing. The photo trembles in my hands, and I shove it back, fighting the tears. I'm so tired of the cold, of the hunger, of the shame that clings to me like damp rot. A shelter volunteer, a young woman with kind eyes, finds me at dawn. There's a veterans support group, she says, handing me a flyer. It's at the community center. They help with housing benefits. You should go. I want to laugh. Help, I've heard that before, empty promises from bureaucrats who don't care about a trans vet like me. But her eyes hold no judgment, and something in me, buried deep, flickers. Maybe it's hope. Maybe it's just exhaustion. Okay, I mumble, tucking the flyer away. The community center smells of burnt coffee and floor polish, a cavernous room with folding chairs arranged in a circle. The Veterans Support Group is a mix of faces, old men with haunted eyes, younger ones with fresh scars, all carrying the weight of war. I sit in the back, my hoodie pulled low, trying to disappear, but I can't escape the stares. A grizzled man, his cap embroidered with Vietnam vet, mutters to his neighbor, "What's she doing here?" The word she drips with disdain, and my stomach twists. I'm used to it, the slurs, the side eyes, but it still cuts. The group leader, Tom, a broad-shouldered man in his 60s, calls the meeting to order. His voice is gruff but warm, like he's seen too much, but still believes in second chances. "We're here to support each other," he says. No judgment. I want to believe him, but the whispers continue. A younger vet, Jake, maybe 25, with a buzz cut and a prosthetic leg, glares at me. "This is for real soldiers," he says loud enough for everyone to hear. The room goes quiet, and I feel every eye on me. My PTSD kicks in. My heart races, my hands shake. The room feels like it's closing in. I want to run, but my legs won't move. Tom steps in, his voice firm. "Enough, Jake. Everyone here served. Everyone belongs." Jake scoffs but backs off. I force myself to stay, though every instinct screams to flee. After the meeting, Tom approaches me, his eyes kind but searching. "You okay, Alex?" I nod, my throat tight. "Yeah, thanks." He hands me a card for a caseworker who helps with veteran benefits. "You deserve better than the street," he says. "We'll get you there." I tuck the card away, but doubt gnaws at me. I fought for scraps my whole life. Why would this be different? A week later, I'm at the VA office clutching Tom's card like a lifeline. The caseworker, a tired woman named Lisa, types my name into her computer, then frowns. "Your benefits claim was denied," she says. "Says here you were dishonorably discharged." My blood runs cold. That's not true. I was discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That was repealed. I should qualify. She shrugs her eyes, already moving to the next file. "Take it up with the Veterans Alliance. They handle appeals." The Veterans Alliance. I've heard of them, a powerful organization that lobbies for vets' rights. But the name feels wrong, like a warning. I do some digging using a library computer and find whispers online the Alliance has been blocking benefits for LGBT veterans, citing moral objections. My anger flares hot and sharp. They're not just denying me, they're erasing us vets like me who served, bled, and were cast out for who we are. I go back to the support group determined to fight. But Jake's there, his glare sharper than before. "You're causing trouble," he says after the meeting. "We don't need your kind stirring things up." My fists clench, but I keep my voice steady. "My kind I served same as you. I deserve my benefits." He steps closer, his voice low. "You're not one of us. Never will be." The words hit like a punch, but I hold my ground. Tom watches from across the room, his face unreadable. Something about him feels familiar, but I can't place it. I'm too tired, too angry, too broken to care. That night, I sleep in an alley again, the flyer crumpled in my pocket. But something shifts inside me. I'm done being invisible. I fought for my country once. Now I'll fight for myself. The community center's fluorescent lights hum above me, casting a harsh glow over the circle of folding chairs. I'm back at the veteran support group, my hoodie pulled low, trying to shrink into myself. The air smells of burnt coffee and cheap air freshener, a mix that churns my stomach. My hands grip the edges of my chair, still shaking from Jake's words. Last week, "You're not one of us. Never will be." The sting of rejection burns, but I'm here anyway. I'm done running. Tom starts the meeting, his gruff voice cutting through the murmurs. "We're here to lift each other up," he says, his eyes scanning the room. "No one gets left behind." I want to believe him. But the glares from some of the others, Jake the Vietnam vet, a few grizzled men in the back, tell me otherwise. They see me a trans woman, and their faces twist like my existence is an insult to their service. I know that look. I saw it in the Army before Don't Ask, Don't Tell tore me away. I served, I bled, I saved lives, but to them I'm just a freak in a hoodie. After the meeting, I linger, my heart pounding as I approach Tom. "Tom," I say, my voice rough from disuse. "I need your help. The Veterans Alliance denied my benefits. They're blocking LGBT vets like me." He stops, his eyes meeting mine. There's something familiar in his gaze, a flicker I can't place. "That's a serious accusation, Alex," he says, his voice low. "You got proof." I pull out a printout from my library research online. Forums, leaked emails, stories from other queer vets whose claims were buried. They're calling it moral objections. I say, but it's discrimination. I want to fight it. Tom's jaw tightens, and for a moment I think he's going to dismiss me, but he nods. "I'll look into it. Meet me tomorrow at the diner on Clark Street, 8 a.m. Bring everything you've got." I nod, but doubt gnaws at me. Can I trust him, or is this just another dead end? The diner smells of grease and syrup, the kind of place where the coffee's always bitter and the booths are sticky. I slide into one across from Tom, clutching my folder of evidence screenshots, emails, a list of names of other LGBT vets who've been denied. My hands shake, not just from the cold, but from the weight of what I'm doing. I'm not just fighting for me. I'm fighting for all of us. Tom takes the folder, his calloused fingers flipping through the pages. "This is solid," he says, but his voice is heavy, like he's carrying something unspoken. "The Alliance is powerful, Alex. They've got friends in Congress and the VA. You sure you want to take them on?" I think of the nights on the street, the nightmares that wake me screaming the photo of my squad I can't bear to look at. I'm sure I say, "I've got nothing left to lose." He leans back, studying me. "You remind me of someone I knew in the service," he says, his voice soft. Tough as hell, never back down. The familiarity in his tone unsettles me, but I push it aside. "What do we do?" "We start small," he says. "I know a lawyer, Rachel, who's taken on the VA before. She'll help, but you need to be ready for a fight. The Alliance won't go down easy." I nod, my stomach twisting. A fight. I've been fighting my whole life against the Army, against society, against the voices in my head that tell me I'm not enough. But this feels different. This feels like purpose. Over the next week, I throw myself into the battle. Rachel the lawyer is a firecracker, sharp, relentless, and fiercely supportive. She meets me at the library, poring over my evidence, her laptop glowing in the dim light. "This is bigger than you," she says. "The Alliance is sitting on millions in benefits meant for vets like you. We can sue, but we need more testimonies, documents, something concrete." I start reaching out to other LGBT vets using online forums and word of mouth. Some are scared, others angry, but a few agree to talk. Their stories are like mine, discharged for their identity, denied benefits, left to scrape by. Each conversation chips away at my isolation, but it also fuels my anger. The Alliance isn't just a bureaucracy. It's a machine crushing people like me to protect its own power. Back at the support group, the tension is thicker than ever. Jake corners me after a meeting, his prosthetic leg clicking as he steps close. "You're making waves," he says, his voice low and angry. "You're gonna ruin it for all of us." I hold his gaze, my heart pounding. "I'm fighting for all of us, Jake, even you." He scoffs, but there's a flicker of something in his eyes, guilt maybe, or fear. I walk away, but his words linger heavy as the Chicago wind. That night, I'm back in an alley, my sleeping bag wrapped tight against the cold. I can't afford a shelter bed, not yet. My phone buzzes a text from Rachel. "Found something. Alliance's CEO Robert Hayes is speaking at a VA event tomorrow. Confront him. I'll back you up." Robert Hayes. The name hits like a bullet. I know him. He was my commanding officer in Iraq back when I was pre-transition, back when I was just Carter to him. He knew my service, and now he's the one blocking my benefits. The betrayal cuts deep, but it also lights a fire. I'm not invisible anymore. Tomorrow I'll make him see me. The VA event is in a sterile conference room, the air thick with the scent of cheap cologne and bureaucracy. I stand in the back, my hoodie swapped for a clean shirt Rachel lent me, my heart hammering. Robert Hayes takes the stage, his silver hair and crisp suit, a far cry from the dusty fatigues I remember. He talks about honoring veterans, his voice smooth practiced. I want to scream. When the Q&A starts, I step forward, my voice shaking but clear. "Mr. Hayes, why is the Veterans Alliance denying benefits to LGBT veterans like me? I served under you in Iraq. You knew me as Carter. Now I'm Alex, and you're erasing my service." The room goes silent. Hayes' face pales, his eyes locking on mine. I see it, recognition, guilt, fear. He knows me. I don't recall he stammers, but his voice cracks. Rachel steps up, holding a stack of papers. "We have evidence," she says. "Emails, memos showing the Alliance's deliberate discrimination. Care to explain, Mr. Hayes?" The crowd murmurs, phones raised to record. Hayes' composure falters, and I see the truth in his eyes. He's not just a bigot. He's ashamed. He knew me, trusted me, and now he's hiding behind his power to erase me. As security escorts me out, I feel a strange calm. I've shaken him. I've shaken the system, but the fight's just beginning. The Chicago wind howls through the alley, biting at my exposed skin as I huddle under my sleeping bag. It's been 2 days since I confronted Robert Hayes at the VA event, and the memory of his pale face, his stammering denial, burns in my mind. The video of my speech went viral. Justice for Alex is trending, with queer vets and allies sharing their stories online. I should feel empowered, but I'm still here, shivering in the dark, my PTSD keeping sleep at bay. The nightmares are worse now, gunfire blood and Hayes' voice from Iraq barking orders, while I dragged a wounded soldier to safety. He trusted me then. Now he's trying to erase me. I pull out my phone, its cracked screen glowing faintly. Rachel texted me earlier. "Hayes is rattled. We've got more vets willing to testify. Keep pushing." I want to, but the weight of it all. Jake's hostility, the glares at the support group, the endless cold makes me feel like I'm drowning. I'm 42, a trans woman with nothing but a tattered photo of my old squad and a flicker of hope I'm afraid to trust. The next morning, I drag myself to the community center for the support group. The room smells of burnt coffee and tension, the fluorescent lights buzzing like my nerves. I sit in the back, my hoodie pulled low, avoiding Jake's glare. Tom starts the meeting, his voice steady, but I catch him glancing at me, his eyes heavy with something unspoken. After the meeting, I linger, my heart pounding as I approach him. "Tom, any word on the Alliance?" I ask, clutching my folder of evidence like a shield. He sighs, stacking chairs with a clunk. "I made some calls. Rachel's right. They're stonewalling queer vets. But Hayes, he's untouchable. You stirred up a hornet's nest, Alex." I nod, but his tone unsettles me. "You sound like you know him." Tom freezes his hands, tightening on a chair. We served together, he admits, his voice low. Long time ago. The admission hits like a punch. You served with Hayes and you didn't tell me. He looks away, his jaw tight. It's complicated, Alex. He's not the man I knew back then. Complicated. The word feels like a betrayal. I want to push, but Jake interrupts, his prosthetic leg clicking as he approaches. You're ruining everything, he snaps loud enough to draw eyes. That stunt with Hayes. You're making us all look bad. My fists clench, my PTSD flaring, my heart races. The room feels too small. I'm fighting for our rights, Jake. You should be too. He scoffs, but there's a flicker in his eyes, guilt maybe, or fear. I walk away, his words heavy as the Chicago wind. Later, I meet Rachel at a diner, the air thick with grease and cigarette smoke. She slides a stack of papers across the table, more testimonies from LGBT vets, each one a story of rejection. We're building a case, she says, her voice fierce. But we need something big to force the Alliance's hand. A whistleblower, maybe, or internal documents. I nod, but my mind's on Tom. His connection to Hayes nags at me, a puzzle I can't solve. Tom served with Hayes, I say. He's hiding something. Rachel's eyes narrow. Dig into it. If he knows Hayes, he might know more about the Alliance's inner workings. That night, I used the library computer to search Tom's name alongside Hayes's. It takes hours, but I find it an old military record. Tom wasn't just in Hayes's unit. He was his second in command in Iraq right there when I served under them pre-transition. My heart stops. Tom knew me back then as Carter. He's known who I am this whole time. The next day, I confront Tom after the support group. The room's empty, the air stale with the ghost of coffee. You knew me, I say, my voice trembling with anger. In Iraq. You knew Carter. Why didn't you say anything? Tom's face crumples, his broad shoulders sagging. I recognized you, Alex, he says, his voice breaking, when you first came to the group, but I didn't know how to say it. I was ashamed. Ashamed, I snap. You and Hayes let me get kicked out. You stood by while Don't Ask, Don't Tell ruined my life. He shakes his head, his eyes wet. I didn't know you were transitioning, not then, but I knew you were struggling. I should have fought for you. Instead, I followed orders. And now, I'm watching Hayes do worse. I step back, my chest tight. What do you mean worse? Tom hesitates, then pulls a USB drive from his pocket. I've been collecting evidence, he says. Emails, memos showing the Alliance's orders to block LGBT vets. I couldn't stay silent anymore, not after seeing you fight. My hands shake as I take the drive. Tom? My old commander is guilty, broken, but he's trying to make it right. I want to hate him, but I see the pain in his eyes, pain I know too well. Why now, I ask. Because of you, he says. You're braver than I ever was. Rachel and I spend the next few days poring over Tom's evidence. It's damning orders from Hayes to prioritize traditional veterans budgets, redirecting funds away from queer vets' claims. We're close, but the Alliance is fighting back. They've launched a smear campaign calling me unstable, a troublemaker. The online hate pours in slurs and threats that make my PTSD flare, but I keep going. I have to. At the next support group, Jake's hostility is louder. You're dragging us into your mess, he says, his voice shaking. The Alliance is cutting our funding because of you. I'm about to snap back when Tom steps in. That's enough, Jake. Alex is fighting for all of us. You'd see that if you weren't so scared. Jake's face twists, and for a moment I think he'll swing. But he storms out, leaving a heavy silence. I look at Tom, his confession still raw between us. Thanks, I say, my voice soft. He nods, but his eyes are distant. We're not done yet. A week later, I'm at the library organizing testimonies when Jake approaches, his prosthetic leg clicking on the floor. I brace myself, but his face is different. Pale, uncertain. I need to talk, he says, his voice low. We sit in a corner, the hum of computers filling the silence. I was in Afghanistan, he says, his eyes on the floor. My unit got hit. I was bleeding out, thought I was done. Someone pulled me to safety. It was you, Alex, back when you were Carter. My breath catches. I remember that day, the heat, the screams, the weight of a soldier in my arms. That was you. He nods, his voice breaking. I didn't know it was you until I saw your photo online. I'm gay, Alex. I've been hiding it. I hated you because I hated myself. The confession hits like a wave. Jake, the one who despised me, owes me his life, and he's like me, trapped by fear and shame. My anger softens, replaced by something else, understanding. We're not so different, I say. Help me fight, for both of us. He hesitates, then nods. Okay. As we leave the library, I feel a shift. Jake's not just an ally, he's a reminder of why I'm fighting. For him, for Tom, for every vet like us. But Hayes and the Alliance are closing in, and I know the hardest battle is still ahead. The Chicago sky is a slab of gray, spitting, icy rain as I trudge toward the community center. My boots splash through puddles, the cold seeping into my bones, but it's nothing compared to the storm inside me. Jake's confession that I saved his life in Afghanistan, that he's gay, and hiding it sits heavy in my chest. He's not just a bully anymore. He's a mirror reflecting my own pain, my own fear. Tom's evidence against the Veterans Alliance burns in my pocket, a USB drive that could change everything. But the weight of this fight against Hayes, against a system that wants me gone, feels like it's crushing me. The support group room smells of stale coffee and damp coats, the fluorescent lights buzzing like a warning. I sit in my usual spot, my hoodie pulled low, but I feel exposed. Jake's here, his prosthetic legs stretched out, his eyes avoiding mine. Tom leads the meeting. His voice steady, but I catch the strain in it, the guilt he's carried since admitting he knew me in Iraq. The other vets are quieter now, the viral video of my confrontation with Hayes hanging over us like a cloud. Some look at me with respect. Others, like the Vietnam vet in the back, glare like I'm the enemy. After the meeting, Jake lingers, his hands fidgeting. I meant what I said, he mumbles. I'll help. What do you need? I hesitate, still wary, but his eyes are earnest, raw. Testify, I say. Tell your story. We're suing the Alliance and we need voices like yours. He nods, but fear flickers in his face. If I come out, my family'll disown me. I know that fear, the dread of losing everything for being who you are. I get it, I say softly. But hiding's worse. Trust me. He doesn't answer, but he doesn't walk away either. It's a start. Rachel meets me at the diner later, the air thick with grease and cigarette smoke. She's buzzing with energy, her laptop open to a draft of our lawsuit against the Veterans Alliance. Tom's evidence is gold, she says, tapping the USB drive. Emails, budgets, direct orders from Hayes to block LGBT vets. We've got a dozen testimonies now, including yours and Jake's. We're filing next week. My heart lifts, but dread follows. Hayes won't go quietly, I say. He's already smearing me online. She nods, her eyes fierce. He's desperate. That's why we need to move fast. I've got a contact at a news outlet, Sarah Lopez. She wants to run a story, put faces to the lawsuit. You ready to go public? I think of the alley I'll sleep in tonight, the nightmares that haunt me, the photo of my squad I can't let go. Going public means more hate, more threats, but it also means being seen. I'm ready. I say, my voice steadier than I feel. The next day, I meet Sarah Lopez at a coffee shop, its warmth a stark contrast to the icy streets. She's sharp, compassionate, her recorder catching every word as I tell my story, my service, my discharge under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, my years on the streets as a trans woman. Jake joins us, his voice shaking as he talks about hiding his sexuality, about the day I saved him. Tom's there, too quieter, his eyes on the floor, as he admits his role in staying silent back then. Sarah's story drops online that night, a bombshell that lights up social media. LGBT veterans fight for justice against powerful alliance. My face is everywhere alongside Jake's and others. The support pours in. Queer vets, allies, even strangers, but so does the hate. My phone buzzes with threats, slurs, messages telling me to disappear. My PTSD flares the world, narrowing to a tunnel of panic, but I breathe through it. I have to keep going. At the support group, the tension is electric. The Vietnam vet storms out, muttering about disgrace, but a few others, a young woman with burn scars, an older man with a cane, approach me after. Keep fighting, the woman says, her voice soft. You're doing what we couldn't. I nod, my throat tight. For the first time, I feel like I belong here. A week later, Rachel calls me to her office, a cramped space above a bodega that smells of ink and determination. The Alliance is countersuing. She says, her face grim. They're claiming defamation, saying we fabricated evidence. And they've got a witness, someone from your unit, Alex, saying you were unstable during your service. My stomach drops. Who? She slides a document across the desk. The name hits like a grenade, Lieutenant Mark Sullivan, my old squad mate. I trusted him in Iraq, shared rations pulled him out of a burning Humvee. He knew me as Carter knew I was struggling with my identity, and now he's betraying me. I'm reeling, but Rachel's voice cuts through. We can fight this. Sullivan's testimony is shaky. Hayes is paying him off. Tom's evidence proves it. I nod, but the betrayal cuts deep. Sullivan's face flashes in my mind. His laugh. His gratitude when I saved him. How could he do this? That night, I confront Tom at the community center, the empty room echoing our voices. Did you know about Sullivan, I demand. Tom shakes his head, his eyes pained. No Alex, but Hayes. He's desperate. He'll burn anyone to save himself. I want to scream, but Tom's guilt, his effort to help, stops me. We need to end this, I say. For all of us. He nods, pulling out another USB drive. I found more financial records. The Alliance is funneling money to anti-LGBT groups. If we leak this, Hayes is done. My hands shake as I take the drive. It's a weapon, but using it means painting a bigger target on my back. I think of Jake, of the other vets, of the girl I was in Iraq fighting to belong. I'm scared, but I'm not alone anymore. The next morning, I meet Jake at the library, his face pale but determined. I told my family, he says, his voice low. They didn't take it well, but I'm done hiding. I squeeze his shoulder, pride swelling in my chest. You're braver than you know. He hands me a letter, his testimony for the lawsuit signed and notarized. Let's finish this, he says. As we leave, my phone buzzes a text from Sarah Lopez. Hayes is holding a press conference tomorrow. Be there. Bring everything. I feel the weight of the USB drives Tom's evidence, Jake's courage. Hayes thinks he can silence us, but he's wrong. I'm not invisible anymore, and I'm ready to fight. The Chicago morning is raw and gray, the air heavy with the promise of snow as I stand outside the Veterans Alliance headquarters. My breath fogs in front of me, my hands trembling not just from the cold, but from the weight of what's coming. Robert Hayes' press conference is about to start, and I'm here with Rachel, Jake, and Tom clutching the USB drives that hold the truth evidence of the Alliance's discrimination, their funding of anti-LGBT groups, their betrayal of vets, like me. The building looms a glass fortress of power, but I'm not invisible anymore. I'm Alex, a trans woman, a veteran, and I'm ready to fight. Inside the conference room smells of polished wood and privilege packed with reporters, cameras flashing like gunfire. My PTSD stirs my heart pounding, but Jake's steady presence beside me grounds me. He's here, openly gay now, his testimony a shield we'll wield together. Tom stands tall, his guilt transformed into resolve, while Rachel's fierce eyes scan the room, her briefcase full of legal ammunition. Hayes takes the stage, his silver hair gleaming under the lights, his voice smooth as he denies our claims. The Alliance supports all veterans, he says, his smile practiced. These accusations are baseless, driven by a few unstable individuals. The word unstable hits like a slap, conjuring Mark Sullivan's betrayal, his paid testimony calling me unfit. But I'm done letting others define me. I step forward, my voice cutting through the murmurs. I'm Alex Carter, and I served under you in Iraq. You knew me as Carter, a soldier who saved lives. Now I'm a trans woman, and you're denying me, and others like me, the benefits we earned. Why? The room goes silent. Cameras swiveling to me. Hayes' face pales, his eyes locking on mine, and I see it again, guilt raw and undeniable. Rachel steps up, holding up the USB drive. We have proof, she says. Emails, financial records showing the Alliance deliberately blocked LGBT veterans' benefits and funded hate groups. Care to explain, Mr. Hayes? The crowd erupts, reporters shouting questions. Hayes stammers, his composure cracking, but he recovers, pointing at me. You're a disgrace, he says, his voice shaking. You're not one of us. The words sting, but they don't break me. Jake steps forward, his voice clear. She's more a soldier than you'll ever be. Alex saved my life in Afghanistan. I'm gay, and I'm proud to stand with her. Tom joins us, his voice heavy with regret. I served with Hayes. I stayed silent when Alex was discharged. I won't stay silent now. The Alliance betrayed its own. It's time for justice. The room is chaos, but I feel a strange calm. We've shaken the fortress Treffen, it's crumbling. As security moves to escort us out, Hayes' voice stops them. "Wait," he says, his face ashen. He steps down from the stage, his eyes fixed on me. The room falls silent, every camera rolling. "Alex," he says, his voice breaking, I knew you were a good soldier. When you were discharged, I didn't fight for you. I was afraid of what it'd mean for my career. And now, I've been afraid of facing you." My breath catches. Hayes, the man who led us in Iraq, the man who's been erasing me, is confessing. I ordered the denials, he continues, his voice barely audible. I thought I was protecting the Alliance's image. I was wrong. I'm sorry. The apology is a shock, but it's not enough. Sorry doesn't fix it, I say, my voice steady. We want our benefits. We want justice. He nods, tears in his eyes. I'll step down. I'll cooperate with the investigation. The crowd gasps, and I feel the weight of years' rejection, homelessness, shame lift slightly. Hayes' confession isn't just for me. It's for every queer vet who's been silenced. The fallout is swift. Hayes resigns that day, and the Department of Veterans Affairs launches a full investigation into the Alliance. Our lawsuit moves forward, bolstered by Hayes' admission and the public outcry. Sarah Lopez's follow-up story goes viral, and Tokoyer, Justice for Alex, becomes a movement with thousands sharing their stories of discrimination. The hate still comes, threats, slurs, but the support drowns it out. For the first time, I feel seen not as a ghost, but a warrior. Rachel secures me temporary housing, a small apartment that smells of fresh paint, a far cry from the alleys. Jake moves in nearby, and we start therapy together, working through our PTSD, our shared pain of hiding who we are. Tom becomes a mentor, his guilt easing as he helps other queer vets navigate the system. We're not just a team, we're a family forged in the fire of this fight. 6 months later, I stand in a renovated storefront in Chicago's South Side, the air filled with the scent of new wood and hope. The sign above reads, Carter's Haven, a center for queer veterans. We won the lawsuit, securing benefits for hundreds of LGBT vets, and I used my settlement to open this place a safe space for therapy, job, training, and community. The walls are lined with photos, me in uniform, Jake's testimony letters from vets we've helped. At the opening ceremony, I meet Sophia, a volunteer therapist with warm eyes and a quiet strength. She's been here every step, organizing events, listening when my nightmares spill out. Our connection grows slowly, cautious but real, and one night, as we lock up the center, she takes my hand. "You're home, Alex," she says, her voice soft. I smile, tears pricking my eyes. Home. For the first time in years, I believe it. The ceremony is a triumph, with vets, allies, and reporters filling the room. I take the stage, my old squad photo in my pocket, a reminder of who I was and who I've become. My name is Alex Carter. I say, my voice carrying the weight of my journey. I was cast out for being trans, but I fought back for myself, for every vet told they don't belong. This center is our home, our proof that we're enough. If you're out there hiding your truth, know this, you're not alone. The crowd applauds, and I feel the scars of my past soften. I'm not just a veteran, I'm a beacon, a survivor, a woman who's found her purpose. As the ceremony ends, I stand outside the Chicago skyline, glittering against the night. Sophia joins me, our fingers intertwining. "What's next?" she asks. I smile, the city's lights reflecting in my eyes. We keep building. For every vet out there who's been forgotten, we show them their home. The screen fades to black with text appearing, "You are enough. Your truth is your strength." Support veterans' equality, join a local organization, share your story, or donate to help queer vets find home. Together we can build a world where service is honored, Visit www.cartershaven.org to get involved.